Main event of Money in the Bank was a ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And I like this match. This actually ended up being the second best match of the night in my mind. It took a little while for it to get started. I wasn't, too into the beginning of it, but it eventually picked up the pace. And, between Rollins powerbombing the ever-loving hell out of Dean Ambrose and the spot at the end where they both take the titles down. I like this match overall. It was definitely one of the highlights. Glad that Seth Rollins retained, even though I would be totally down with Dean Ambrose winning the title. I actually kind of like, now that this has been happening with Dean Ambrose, I want him to win the Royal Rumble. More than anybody. I doubt it'll happen, but I'm kind of hoping for that Shield triple threat. So... but yeah, good match. Somewhat awkward ending, but I liked it overall. I think this was good. Do you guys like it?
Nope.
What didn't you like about it?
What didn't I like about it? Well, there's a fucking list. But thankfully, I don't have said this. But I tell you what, I don't like the most is that they were focusing on Dean Ambrose's leg, and everything. And shit, and he couldn't walk and shit. I thought that was offensive. For starters. And then, what I like about these matches, right, is that on the next night of Raw, it's like, this shit never happened. It's like, oh, we've taken all these sick bumps. Next night on Raw, oh, I'm fine.
Well, he was still limping.
Yeah, he was limping a little. He could have done a better job, though, because the way he was walking after the match, it was like, I've got a wooden leg, look.
Yeah, and then the next night, yeah, fine, happy days.
Yeah, and then it went from, I can't move my leg, to, this is kind of aggravating.
I'm just going to sit in the middle of the ring and complain like a bitch. But, yeah, I don't like the ending. I thought both of them grabbing the belt and falling, and Seth Rollins hugging the belt looking like a creepy son of a bitch was kind of weird. And not the first time we've seen it, if I remember correctly. There was like another match that was like that a couple of years ago. I can't remember who it was. There was this one spot with the ladder that I don't like, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, and Dean Ambrose hit an elbow from the top of the fucking ladder, as per usual. Fair to seeing that. Chinch it up. I don't know, do a flip or something.
Do a 450 splash.
I just fucking remembered the Futurama episode where I forget who was threatening to jump, and Bendis is at the bottom. Do a flip!
Yeah.
So I liked it, Sean didn't. What about
and
you,
another
Caitlin?
thing
What about
I don't like about it, it went on way too fucking long.
It was a long match. It was like
It was pretty long.
35
like 50 minutes,
minutes.
wasn't
Yeah,
Jesus.
35.
That's long to you people? That's depressing.
No. I mean, it was longer. It was the longest match on the card, but it was the title match. Mm-hmm. I liked it. Like Tony said, I agree. After the Owens Cena match, this was my favorite match on the card. It was hard fought. Both of those guys gave it their all. Some really good spots in there. I liked when they had the Rollins put Ambrose in the figure four and he reversed it. That was a cool spot, and they're playing up that whole leg story really well. I thought that told a good story. And at times he was saying something. What was he saying? It was something like, "You're not going to be able to walk after this," or something. So they were kind of playing off that whole thing. Like you guys said, it would have been better if he would have sold it better the next night on Raw. But throughout the pay-per-view, Ambrose was really good at selling that leg. The match, the ending of itself, rather, the match. I don't know. I'm still not sure how I feel about it. When it first happened, I was totally pissed off. But the more I think about it, the more I'm okay with it, as far as them both going up and grabbing it, falling, and then he just sort of rolls over with it. I would rather have seen a cleaner finish of Rollins just going up there and grabbing it. But I wasn't super disappointed. All in all, I thought it was the second best match of the night, like I said, and I thought it was an okay way to end the night.
Wigo, what about you?
I fucking love this match, and I don't actually put Kevin Owens and John Cena 2 significantly higher than this match. I thought this was an excellent match, and one of the better ladder matches. People have been conditioned to expect a fucking car crash after car crash after car crash in a ladder match, courtesy of the fucking Hardy Boys. But the reality of it is, the best ladder matches are the ones which tell a story. Mm-hmm. That's why Shawn Michaels vs. Razor Ramon is looked back on so fondly. And every time these guys get in the ring, they tell a great story. This match was long. It was, well, longer. I wouldn't say it's a long match if it was around the 40-minute mark, 45-minute mark. And I wouldn't have minded seeing it get more time. The biggest issues I took with it were the flow of the match at times. Pro wrestling is meant to be like a menu. You're meant to start it off to get the person's fucking attention and then slowly, bit by bit, tease them as they get to the main course, and it never really happened. It just kind of jumped around. So when the ending finally happened, it fell flat. If they had built up to it more and got the fans more into it as they're both climbing up, it would have worked a lot better. It was way too slow. Way too messily built, sorry.
I just don't like ladder matches in general. I think that's what it is. I just don't like ladder matches. I didn't like Money in the Bank last year. I don't like Money in the Bank this year.
No, Money in the Bank this year fucking blew, though.
Yeah, this one this year was not so good, the contract match, but I thought this match was good.
The only spot I liked was when Seth Rollins powerbombed Ambrose through the fucking ladder and fucking chairs and shit. That was pretty awesome. And that's what that should have killed Ambrose off there and then, but then, you know, he had to have second win and jump up and grab the title. Well, that's what really arced me, is like, you get powerbombed through all that shit and you're still able to get up and walk. And then next time on Raw, sit down in a chair in the middle of the ring and complain like a bitch.
So who's winning the title at Battleground? Rollins going to retain or Brock Lesnar?
Oh, definitely Seth Rollins. He's going to win. I don't know how he's going to win. He's going to win by some sort of shady business, and they're going to have Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins 2 at SummerSlam.
I think Seth Rollins is retaining. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to happen, but yeah, it's going to be some kind of shady finish. I think they might be leading up to Triple H versus Seth Rollins, because there's been a lot of tension between them. So I could see them, because I think Triple H is probably going to come back, do a SummerSlam match, and I've been thinking lately, who's he going to face? I could see him going against Rollins, like, okay, you beat Brock Lesnar, it was kind of a shitty finish, but let's see if you can get through me now. So I could see that.
What would Lesnar do?
Kevin Owens.
That would be fantastic.
No, do not do that yet.
Not yet, yeah.
He's not ready.
Sheamus for Money in the Bank. There we go. And then Brock Lesnar wins off Sheamus, and then everybody's fucking happy.
Yeah.
Boom, make it happen, make it happen.
Because then you never know when it's going to be cashed in, and then it would be a fucking big surprise to see Brock Lesnar come out with a fucking Money in the Bank briefcase, wouldn't it?
That's the best thing I've heard for it. Yeah, do it.
As my buddy Dane said, could have him make Paul Heyman carry the briefcase around. Because Brock Lesnar walking around with the briefcase would look really fucking awkward.
Oh, of course Heyman would have to carry it.
Yeah.
Best thing about Brock Lesnar being Money in the Bank is it doesn't even, like, that whole it can happen anytime becomes so more awesome, because one, he only shows up now and again, and two, he doesn't need you to be weak. He'll fucking come down and beat the piss out of you and just take it because he can.
And the time he cashes in, people will forget about the Money in the Bank because it's not on telly, and then they'll be even more surprised when he comes up.
Man, I really hope that they go with something like that.
I'm liking this idea more and more the more we talk about it.
He just beats the shit out of Sheamus at SummerSlam, and wins the Money in the Bank. That would be such a good way to be like, okay, well, that's why you gave it to Sheamus. I have no faith that this will happen, though.
Nah, Sheamus is cashing in on Money. That's what's going to happen. Sheamus is going to cash in, and then we're going to have Brock Lesnar versus Sheamus for the title, and then Seth Rollins versus Triple H at SummerSlam.
Oh, man, I really don't want that to happen.
Do you think that's what they're doing? Sheamus will be make it a triple threat match and lose the fall to Seth Rollins so Brock doesn't get beat.
Oh man,
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, they could
That'd
do
be
that. I haven't even thought about that.
It's tough, man. Like, I don't know what they could do with Lesnar if he's not fighting Rollins at SummerSlam. I mean, he doesn't have to be at SummerSlam. That's one thing. Last time around, he wrestled SummerSlam and then Night of Champions, and they didn't wrestle again until Royal Rumble? That was ridiculous. So they could just not have him. But
No, you don't bring Brock back and not have him wrestle SummerSlam.
I don't know why they brought him back for Battleground. Battleground's a nothing fucking show. Isn't Battleground not even classed as a pay-per-view this year? It's classed as a special on the network.
I think they say that they're all special events. I don't know, but leave your comments below. What do you think's going to happen? What do you want to happen with Money in the Bank, with Brock Lesnar, with Seth Rollins? What do you think about Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose? And for that matter, what should Dean Ambrose move on to? Because it looks like they're doing Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus right now. That'll probably happen at Battleground. And I don't know, probably a rematch again at SummerSlam because they like doing rematches at SummerSlam this time around now. There's something else that is on the line for people like Roman Reigns and stuff, or maybe Brock Lesnar gets involved in that. I don't know. Toss your ideas our way. That'll do us in for the Money in the Bank review. I gotta say, overall, disappointing pay-per-view. A couple of good spots, but just nowhere near as good as it should have been. We've got Fantasy League coming up in the next part. That'll be it for episode 187, so stay tuned, see what we do with that, and we will be right back.